Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Julian Wilcox toku ingoa nau mai. My name is Julian Wilcox. I will be your Master of Ceremony for today's National Remembrance Service. He pānui whawhati tata, e noho hau maru ai tātou katoa. A health and safety announcement, ladies and gentlemen. In the event of an emergency, please follow the direct instructions of the venue staff and wait for the announcement to evacuate. There are 4 emergency exit points located on the ground floor and first floor of the arena. So please take a moment to find your nearest exit point. If whilst you are here you see anything out of place or anything that concerns you, then please let security staff know as soon as you can. This is, of course, a significant remembrance service that we are attending today, being run in the current COVID-19 environment. And you may recall that we were looking to hold this event last year in 2020, but it was, of course, cancelled the day beforehand due to COVID-19. So thank you all very much for being a part of the Remembrance Service and for attending in person today. And of course, this occasion is a significant one for many of the bereaved families, affected people, and for nations across the world and their governments watching via the live stream from overseas, many of whom would have loved and wanted to be here and to travel to Christchurch for the Remembrance Service today. So they are in our thoughts as well. We will begin our Remembrance Service in less than 10 minutes, in about 8 minutes or so, at 3 p.m. So for those who have yet to find their seats, if you could do so now, that would be appreciated. And one final reminder, ladies and gentlemen, please mute all cell phones before the service begins. And here's an interesting thought, maybe even turn them off, just for once, in preparation for the beginning of our Remembrance Service, which starts at 3 p.m. Ngā mihi nui, kia koutou katoa. ngā mana, e ngā reo, e ngauri o ngā tō pūranga ariki ngauri o ngā weko, huri noa I te whare nei. O tātu ki te motu whānui, pūrara tu ki te ao whānui, ti hewa mauri ora ki a tātou katoa. Ladies and gentlemen, before we are all officially welcomed to today's National Remembrance Service, ko Tātou We Are One, ka pai te whakatau a ngā parika rangaranga rongo maraeroa o ngai tuahuriri I te ope manu kura ka whakaeke mai. To be officially welcomed by our kaikaranga e ngai tuahuriri, ladies and gentlemen, can I ask you all please to stand for the ceremonial call of welcome to the official party to begin today's service.
Karamaira e te kāhui manukura e whakaeke maira ki rungi te mano ngai tuahuriri ngai tahu whānui e me te hāpori o tau tahi e nau mai hara mai tau ti maira. Te iwi hira mai koutou ngā morehu kua mahue nei e haere maira koutou
Menoho tātou, please be seated. Kia whae karoria, kia ihoa o ngā mano, mātua tama wairoa tapu me ngā anahera pono, ko te māngai hei tautoko ai. Ngā maere kura o New Tireni, Your Excellency, the Right Honourable Dame Patsy Reedy, Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Jacinda Ardern, tēnā kōrua, nau mai, haramai, koutou katoa, haramai, ki tēnei whare a mātou nei, ki te wai paunamu, ki ngā Pākihi whakateka o Waitaha. Tēnā koutou katoa, ngā morehu. O te iwi o Ihirama, ngā whānau pani, ngā kānohi o Matariki, kua hui mai nei I te rānei, tēnā koutou, nau mai, hara mai. Tēnei te whakatau o te iwi. Ko tā mātou tikanga kia tuku atu ngā whakamoemiti ahakoa ngā piki me ngā heke. So our custom is and requires us to give thanks whether things go well or ill. So, e te iwi ihirama. We give thanks to your community for your observance of grace in your darkest time, because we understand that that state of grace comes from deep faith. We give thanks to our Prime Minister for directing our attention to what matters during a crisis, compassion. And we give thanks to our community throughout Christchurch, New Zealand, for their charity and dignity and our basic understanding as citizens of this country that as a community we are our brother's keeper. In 2019, we welcomed you back to Te Ao Marama, which we call the world of light, and today we stand here in that light. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, nau mai, tauti mai rā, kei te mihi tātou ki a koutou katoa.
Kororia, hallelujah, kia iho o ngā mahano, ki te kahui ali ki wairua, ko te mangai hei tautoko mai, te arepa te omega, tautoko tia mai te rohunei, viri wiri tua hamu era, ka uta ka oharai.
Piki te ora, piki te kaha, piki te maramatanga.
Te uboko ngai tu ahuriri, o tira ngai tu ahuriri, ngai tahu whanui tēnā kūtou, katoa e karata mai re ngā mihi nui I kia koe. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to welcome Her Worship, the Honourable Elayyan, Mayor of Christchurch, to make her address of welcome at this Remembrance Service. Ko Tātou We Are One, e te kahika o tautahi tēnā koe.
Kia ora. E te ti, e te tā, tātou a mo tono nei, I te aroha. Mo maharatia kia atawhai ki te iwi, tēnā koutou katoa. To us all, we who continue to hold on to the branch of compassion, recall, recollect, and remember to care for the people. I acknowledge you all. Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. Their Excellencies, the Governor-General and Sir David Gascoigne, Prime Minister, Leader of the Opposition, Ministers and Members of Parliament, fellow Mayors and Councillors, members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps. It is a privilege to stand here with Te Maire Tau, Upoko Ngāi Tuhuriri, as I did 2 years ago, to welcome you all here. I acknowledge the families and friends of the 51 people whose lives were taken as a result of the attack on Al Noor Masjid and the Linwood Islamic Centre. You and they are in our hearts forever. I acknowledge all those who were injured on that day and everyone who was traumatised by what they saw and by what they experienced. I thank those who have shared their stories. I know how painful that can be. However, a seed of understanding is planted each time such a story is shared. And it is with understanding that we see that differences sometimes mask all that we have in common. And it is all we have in common, our shared humanity, that brings us together in times of need and again today. Today we also take the opportunity to give heartfelt thanks to everyone who came in response to the call for help. The first responders, including the emergency response teams, paramedics and hospital teams, along with the bystanders, passers-by and neighbours who stepped in to help save lives. It has been heartwarming to hear stories of lasting friendships forged in the hours and days after the attacks. No longer strangers, we are neighbours in the true sense of the word. Today we also reflect on the incredible leadership of our Muslim communities who asked us to unite in peace, love and forgiveness so that we could overcome the division and further acts of violence this attack was designed to cause. We can all be proud of how we responded and how we supported each other with kindness and compassion. And although March 15, 2019 will always be a day when we can instantly recall where we were and what we were doing when we first heard news of the attack. It is for the outpouring of support that our city will be forever remembered. And for that, we give thanks for the voices of our Muslim leaders, our Prime Minister, who spoke for our nation with passion and commitment, and our own communities here in Ōtautahi Christchurch, who came together as we do again today. We are all invited to keep these intentions alive, to see our differences as our strength, to embrace our shared humanity, and to find the true value in the diversity that is our city today. In this way, we see our shared response as a beacon of light in the world and an offer of hope for the future, which was exemplified at the call to prayer just 1 week after the shootings, where thousands of people simply turned up. The message was incredibly powerful. We stand in solidarity with you. No one stands alone. Ko Tātou, we are one. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā rā tātou katoa, and welcome.
Your Worship, the Mayor of Christchurch, Len Dalzell, thank you very much for those words. Ngā mihi nui kia koe. Hei whakarehu, i ngā kōrero, a ngai tuahuriri me te kahika nei o te whaitua o tautahi, ka riro ma te kura tuarua, o te ringa o ka hukura Tātou We Are One. Ladies and gentlemen, here to perform the illustrious song Manu Makamutu as a relish to the speeches of welcome from Ngai Tuahuriri Ngai Tahu, and of course the beautiful city of Ōtautahi Christchurch. Please welcome the students of Kashmir High School. The students of Kashmir High School, thank you very much. Tēnā koutou I tā koutou waiata. I aia nei e te iwi he karakia kei te haere, he karakia whakamoimiti, he karakia whakamaharatanga. He karakia e tā ai te mauri ki ngā kōrero te haere ake nei. Ladies and gentlemen, now to deliver the Muslim invocation, the dua, representing Linwood Islamic Centre, Imam Alabi Latif. Nō reira, e taku amorangi, Imam Alabi Latif, tēnā koe.
Assalamu alaikum. Kia ora. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. My respect to the Honourable Prime Minister, the ministers here, the Police Department, Health Department, St. John's, the Tangata Whenua, male and females, and all New Zealanders as a whole. Welcome and thank you for coming. First of all, I will say these few words to the bereaved and the deceased family. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I sympathize with you, brothers and sisters, with words that can't wipe away our tears, hugs that won't ease our pain, but hold on to our memories. Forever they'll remain dead, brothers, sisters, fathers, mothers, children got matayar in the house of Allah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ya man yaqbal al-yasir wa ya'fu al-kathir, aqbal minna al-yasir wa afu 'anna al-kathir, innaka antal ghafurur rahim. Allahumma ighfir li hayyina wa mayyitana wa shahidana wa ghaibana wa saghirana wa kabirana wa dhakarna wa unthana. Allahumma man ahyaytahu minna fahyihi 'ala al-islam wa man tawaffayta minna fatawaffahu 'ala al-iman. Allahumma la tahrimna ajrahu wa la tudillana ba'dahu. Summary of this is that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive those who passed away, be with those that we're living, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not to deny us the reward of this that we are doing. And finally, before I read Surah Al-Fatiha, I will say from the bottom of my heart, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وتعاون على البر والتقوى ولا تعاون على الإثم والعدوان. We are sitting here because of racism. We are sitting here because of racism. So to come together, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, come together in birr wa taqwa, doing good and fearing God Almighty. ولا تعاون على الإثم والعدوان. Don't come together in doing the bad things. And one of the form of racism is fighting among one another. So, brothers and sisters, let us think and go back to this ayah. Al-Fatiha. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Thank you very much.
E te omorangi te narawa atu koe. I e nā kōrero. Thank you very much. E mamala bi latif. We now introduce the first of 4 speakers, ladies and gentlemen, representing those affected by the events of March 15, 2019. Our first speaker is Karen Munir, and she is speaking today on behalf of the bereaved families. Nō reira, Karen, tēnā koe.
Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. 2 years have passed by today. We gather here to remember the 51 beautiful souls who departed this world, tying us in the bonds of unity and reviving the solidarity that has grown strong in our nation, proving that we are one. I feel honored and privileged to stand before you here today, speaking on behalf of all the Shaheed's families. I, Dr. Kiran Munir, am the proud wife of Shaheed Dr. Haroon Mahmood, a well-educated, honorable, and refined man. He was the love of my life and will always be. My husband for 13 years and my extraordinary soulmate. He was my best friend of 20 years, my pillar of strength, my shelter, my safe place. Haroon had a charming and distinguished personality, which especially showed in his devotion and affection as a father to our children. He was also well loved by his friends, colleagues, and students. He will forever be remembered by so many. Haroon was also an exceptional student and a competent academic who aimed to accomplish so much in life. He successfully completed his PhD in finance at Lincoln University in November 2018 and was eagerly looking forward to the graduation ceremony in May 2019. Yet a horrendous act of hate and terror did not give us a chance to celebrate his hard work and achievement. Haroon's smiling goodbye on the morning of Friday, 15th March, still echoes in my mind. Little did I know that the next time I would see him, the body and soul would not be together. Little did I know that the darkest day in New Zealand's history had dawned. That day, my heart broke into 1,000 pieces, just like the hearts of the 50 other families. I was lost. My kids and I felt our lives were meaningless after losing a wonderful husband and father. I constantly think of all the precious lives that were lost, all the stories that were left unfinished. Just like Haroon, every Shaheed was so special, so valuable, and so heroic. No wife, husband, mother, father, child, family member, or friend will ever forget them. Their legacy will always remain. We will see their good deeds in all of us, and they will live forever in all of us. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Despite the tragedy we have faced, we are learning to rise up again with dignity and move forward as best we can. The outpouring of aroha from our fellow New Zealanders, spurred on by the strong and kind leadership of our Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern, meant that we never felt alone in this journey. Phrases like, "We have hope," "We are one," and "Salam" have been our collective message to each other and to the world. And actions have spoken just as loudly as words. Everyone wanted to show their love and support however they could. There were small gestures like neighbors leaving fruit and flower baskets on doorsteps. There were also large national-level decisions like the reform of New Zealand's gun laws and the establishment of the Christchurch call. All of this made our community feel reassured and valued. That's not to say that everything is perfect or even acceptable. Gaps and flaws in the system in our society are laid bare in the Royal Commission report. There's an urgent need to have well-defined laws for hate crime and hate speech. There's still a long way to go to make sure nothing like this ever happens again. Even so, the wound that gets bandaged and cared for will heal much faster and better than the one that is not looked after. Thank you, Aotearoa, and the team of 5 million for being our bandage. I'm standing here in front of you and asking, should this be the price to pay? If my faith, language, attire is different from you, does any of it matter? We all are one. So let's make a start. There is room for respect. Everyone should be kind. Everyone should be free. Your values matter. Your attitude matters. Racism has no face, no space, no place. We are one human race. We all feel, we love, we care, we share. We all are one. Thank you, and kia ora.
E ao te kōrero, Karen Munia, thank you very much. I'd now like to introduce our next speaker. She is Maha Al-Madani, representing Muslim youth who have been affected by the events of March 15, 2019. Nō reira Maha, tēnā koe.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم. الأزمات تتراءى لنا بين إقبال وإدبار، ويبقى الأمل بالله شمسا لا تغيب ونبعا صاف لا ينضب. As the calamities continue to appear to us back and forth, the hope in God remains a sun that does not set, and a pure spring that does not deplete. 2 years ago, 51 innocent lives were taken without mercy at the hands of a coward. Their crime was their faith. Their crime was calling this beautiful city home. The pain of losing these 51 lives has not only impacted the people of Christchurch, it was a pain that rippled throughout New Zealand and the rest of the world and continues to be felt to this day. They were loving fathers, mothers, brothers, and sons. Today, we remember them. They had so much to give to this land. They were proud Kiwis, and we were blessed to have had them in our lives. One of those proud Kiwis we lost was Ali al-Madani. He was my dad, and he took with him a part of my soul. My Baba was a man of few words, gently spoken in classical Arabic. He was a custodian of knowledge and history. When he spoke, everybody listened. He was my teacher, my anchor, and my source of truth. Through him, I learned about my faith and my Palestinian heritage. When he left this world, so too did the light. His death and that of all the shuhada has left behind a heartache that can never be healed and an emptiness that can never be filled. Today we mark another chapter in this journey. Now is the time to take strength in what we have overcome. The ripples of grief and sorrow that we endure may never subside, but we have faith in each other as a community and as a country to heal and rebuild ourselves. Because with hardship comes ease. Inna ma'al usri yusra. Know that as we take steps into this new future, our shuhada are watching over us and will be alongside us every step of the way. Our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace be upon him, taught us that when a person dies, their deeds end except in 3 ways: ongoing charity, knowledge that others can benefit from, or a righteous child who prays for them. So today I ask my fellow youth to not forget the shuhada we have lost. Honor their memory and live your life as their legacy. Spread charity, knowledge, and righteousness in your future lives so that they can rejoice. Spread kindness. Spread kindness. That is what we have been taught. If our shuhada sacrificed their lives so that we as a nation could wake up and learn from the mistakes of our past, then my wish for the future is that we learn and learn well. I wish for a safer, more inclusive Aotearoa, where our young generation and all those who follow can be proud of their identities and can live freely from fear of discrimination or ignorance. أجمل لحظة هي أن يتحقق في النهاية ما صبرت لأجله فيا رب ارزقني ما أتمناه. The most beautiful moment is when what you have been patient for comes true in the end. So God, grant me what I wish for. Kia ora, assalamu alaikum.
Maha, tēnā rawa atu koe. Hara mai te kōrero, thank you very much. E aia nei e te iwi kua puta te raukaranga ki te hunga poi tō whakarewa, i tā e tuatahi atu ki te parekura nei. Ki ngā amo kapua o ngā whakapono, me ngā kaihua ake ngā ingoa kia whakaeke mai ki runga i te ahurewa. We now invite those who will be standing in support during the portrait of remembrance, the first responders and Christchurch interfaith leaders, to join our name readers on stage. During planning for this remembrance service, the families specifically asked for this group to be involved today so that the families could express their appreciation to those that help and to those other faith groups who showed their support. Hakaati, i tēnei wā, ka whakamaharatia rā te hunga i riro, I ngā mahi I puta ake I te rātu tau, I te 15 o Maehe, I te tau 2011. Now, ladies and gentlemen, a portrait and remembrance and reading of the names. The names will be read by Sarah Kasem and Zara Omar. We now acknowledge and honour the Shuhada who lost their lives following the events of March 15, 2019. While there are 51 Shuhada, please note, one international bereaved family has asked that their loved one not be included in today's Remembrance Service. This family and all others are in our thoughts at our Remembrance Service today. Nō reire ngā iwi, kia whakarongo ake tātou, kia mātakitake ake rā tātou.
Ahmed Abdul Ghany. Osama Adnan Yusuf Abu Kwek. Husna Ahmed. Syed Areeb Ahmed. Farhaj Ahsan. Mohsin Mohammad Al-Habi. Ashraf Ali. Ashraf Ali Razak. Syed Jahandar Ali. Hussein Al-Umari. Linda Armstrong.
Musa Noor Awali. Zakaria Bhuiya. Kamil Mohammad Kamal Kamil Darwish. Atta Mohamed Elayyan. Ali Al-Madani. Abdul Qadir Ilmi. Muhammad Omar Farouk. Dr. Amjad Hamid. Lilik Abdul Hamid. Mohammad Mujammal Al-Huq. Mu'ath Ibrahim. Junaid Ismail.
Ozer Kadir. Ansi Alibaba Karikapulam. Imran Khan,
Haji Maheboob Allahlakhar Khokhar,
Dr. Haroon Mahmood, Syed Ahmed Milne, Mohamed Haziq Mohamed Tarmizi, Hussein Mohamed Khalil Mustafa, Haji Mohammed Dawood Nabi, my brother Tariq Rashid Omar,
Musa Vali Sulaiman Patel, my father Abdul Fattah Qasim, Ashraf Al-Mursi Raghib, Matiullah Safi, Dr. Mohammad Abdul Samad, Mohammad Sohail Shahid, Munir Sulaiman, Zakaria Bhuiya, Khalid Al-Haj Mustafa, Hamza Al-Haj Mustafa, Ghulam Hussain, Karam Bibi, Muhammad Zeshan Raza, Naeem Rashid, Talha Naeem, Arif Muhammad Ali Wara, Ramiz Harif Bhai Wara,
A ka te ngai wi kwa tai ki te wā ke tau te rangi Māori e he ko tahi miniti nei te roa o tā tātou tūtū mai. Ladies and gentlemen, we now all please stand to observe a minute's silence, to remember and to reflect. E tū e ngai wi, kia tau te maungarongo, kia hou te rongo. Please stand for the minute's silence. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Tēnā koutou katoa ki Atta no noho mai. Please be seated. We'd like to thank our name readers, Sarah Kasem and Zara Omar, and also those representing our faith leaders and first responders who ascended the stage. And to all first responders who are here at today's National Remembrance Service, thank you. I aia nei e te iwi, ka riro matakura o waimairiri tā tātou waiata whakarehu. Ladies and gentlemen, the Burnside High School Orchestra will now perform Gabriel's Oboe by Ennio Morricone. E tamama e hinema o te kura o waimairiri, tēnā koutou katoa. Burnside High School Orchestra, thank you very much for that beautiful piece of music. E ngā tamatāne, e ngā kōhine, o te kura o waimairi, i ngā mihi nui kia koutou katoa. Thank you all very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we now move to our next speaker. Our next speaker is Tamal Atachoju, and he is representing the injured from the events of March 15, 2019. We now invite him to make his address. Tamal Tenawe.
We will remember them. Rest in peace. Tēnā koto, tēnā koto, tēnā koto katoa. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you. Friday, 15th of March 2019, the day that marked world history with a dark stain. 51 martyrs, 40 injured, and hundreds traumatized. The victims were not foreigners. They were and are proud Cantabrians and New Zealanders. They are us. My name is Tamal Atachoju, one of those victims who experienced firsthand the savagery of that day. It is a miracle I am alive. I was shot 9 times. 4 bullets in my left leg, 1 in my right leg, 3 in my left arm, and another 1 in my mouth. The bullet in my mouth was stopped on its way to my brain only because of a dental breach made by a Turkish dentist a long time ago. I have since had 7 major surgeries, and there are more to come. I will carry lots of shrapnels in my body for the rest of my life. Every time I have an X-ray, it lights up like a Christmas tree. Despite rehabilitation, my left arm is permanently disabled, like so many others. Many of my wounds will never fully heal. But I am a strong, stubborn Turkish Kiwi who has been brought up to battle on, and that's what I will do. On the 15th of March 2019, I managed to get out of Al Nur Mosque with the help of my friend Abdul. The 200-meter walk to the ambulance was the longest and hardest path I have ever taken. I sat on the ground beside the ambulance with 9 bullets in my body, filled with pain and fear. I kept thinking of my 2 sons, of my mother, my sibling, and all the people I love. A fellow Muslim man called Adin Ibrahim sat beside me, cradling his own son, Mukat Ibrahim, on his lap. I recognize Adin and Mukat from our Friday prayer sessions. The paramedics told him that his son was dead. There was nothing they could do for him. Suddenly, my own pain felt insignificant. My heart went full. I still go to Al Nur Mosque every week for Friday prayers. And I always see that father with a big, lovely smile on his face. He's a remarkable man. The 15th of March 2019 attacks were caused by racism and ignorance. They were attacks on all of humanity that broke hearts from every race and every religion. And they aimed to divide, even in a place like New Zealand that values minority communities and multiculturalism. Racism feeds hatred and hostility. It is the worst enemy of peace. It is a mental disease, and the only cure for it is the love of humanity. There is no place for racism in Islam. Prophet Mohammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Whoever claims racism is not one of us. Whoever fights for racism is not one of us. And whoever dies for racism is not one of us." May we all do our part, no matter our race, religion, and identity, to create a world without prejudice and discrimination. New Zealand can lead the way. On behalf of all survivors, I would like to give the most humble thank you to those who helped us that day. Many at their own risk. To the many bystanders, neighbors, paramedics, the emergency departments, and hospital staff, please accept our heartfelt gratitude. And to fellow New Zealanders and all people around the world watching, thank you. Thank you for never leaving us alone. Thank you for always standing with us. Please continue to stand with us. The 15th of March 2019 attacks left an undefinable pain in our hearts, a pain we are never able to erase. We will never be the same. However, the future is in our hands. We will go on and we will be positive together. Just like my friend Adin from Friday Prayers, who lost his son Mukad. Our smile never be taken from us. Kia kaha Aotearoa. Stay strong, New Zealand. Kia ora. Thank you.
Tamal, thank you for your words and for being the strong and determined and resolute Kiwi Turk that you are. Ngā mihi nui kia koe. I aia ne te iwi he kai kōrero anō. He kai kōrero e haere ake ana. We now call upon our final speaker from the Muslim community. His name is Faisal Syed, who will be speaking on behalf of all other victims and the wider Muslim community. Nō reira, Faisal, tēnā koe.
Rabbi Shraili Sadri, Waisri Amri, Walulugdatan Milisani of Kaunkoli. Tēnā koutou katoa, and assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you all. Bismillah wa alhamdulillah. As is our Islamic tradition, I would like to begin by showing our gratitude and thanks. As a community, we received messages, flowers, visitors from near and far, from all around the world, far too many to acknowledge. All I can say is, thank you very much. It all mattered. Also, the opportunity to gather together as a community in one space, an opportunity we did not have last year, a luxury that a lot of countries cannot afford today, is something to be grateful and thankful for. God of nations at the feet, in the bonds of love we meet, hear our voices we entreat, God defend our free land. We've lost 51 beautiful souls. We have lost many dreams that were broken when the loved ones either departed this world or were succumbed to lifelong injury. We have lost many smiles and laughter. We cried so much that we ran out of tears. We lost many sleeps. But ladies and gentlemen, we did not lose one thing, and that is hope. Hope to see a nation that is without any fear, that is without any judgments and hate. We are hurt, but we have hope. We are hopeful. We live on a land where people are considered as the most important thing in the world. There is a Maori proverb that says, He aha te mai nui o te ao. What is the most important thing in the world? He tangata, he tangata, he tangata. It's people, it's people, it's people. I've never felt any prouder to be a Muslim as much as I've felt in the last 2 years. My community was in pain and in tears. It was slowly healing and recovering. It shared a message of forgiveness and what it really means to be peaceful. Whilst forgiveness and sharing peace is a prominent part of our faith, having a voice and standing for justice is also strongly embedded in my faith. That strength, that grace could be seen in the court when my community members confronted the gunman, looked eye to eye, and said things like, "Look around, who is others?" I've never felt any prouder being a Kiwi as much as I've felt in the last 2 years, because we showed what it really means to care, love, and accept. My daughter was only 17 months old. My daughter is 17 months old now, and my wife was 3 months pregnant when I was in the mosque on 15th March. I almost lost the hope of being alive and to see my daughter outside those scanning machines. She is too young to understand this. She gave me the strength to get through this tragedy and through COVID. Every time she said, "Papa," and she rested her forehead on my chest, I had a reason to smile, and I had the strength. I have got big dreams for my daughter. I secretly want her to be the Prime Minister of New Zealand. But that does not matter. What really matters is, will she be able to shine and pursue what she wants without being questioned on her faith, on her race, on her religion and values? I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, what are your hopes? What are your dreams for your family, for your children, for your kids? I'll let you think about it. Though history will say our country shone bright in the way we responded, can we really say that we have eliminated hatred? If hatred exists, so does the mahi required to eradicate it. We owe to those who lost their lives. We owe to the world who we showed the hope. We owe to our kids. There is a long way to go. There's a lot of work we need to do. It's not a government matter, although government has lots to do. It's not a police matter, although police has got lots to do. It's not an educational matter, although education has got lots to do. It's not a Muslim community matter. It has impacted all of us, and it will require all of us to make sure this is not going to happen to any of us. Honorable Prime Minister, as I close, we cannot thank you enough. Young you may be, but you have acted as a woman who has transformed into a motherly figure to keep her family together, repeatedly saying constant messages, powerful messages, that they are us and we are one. We have a saying in Quran that Allah does not change your condition. if you don't change what's in your hearts. Honorable Prime Minister, you changed people's hearts. So thank you for that. I say this with a lot of passion and sincerity, that I was born in India, but I was reborn in New Zealand. And I make that pledge today, that so long as I'm alive, so long as I'm in this country, I'm going to serve this community, and I'm going to serve my nation to the best of my ability. Men of every creed and race, gather here before thee face, asking thee to bless this place. God defend New Zealand. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Faisal. Tēnā rawa tu koe ngā mihi nui ki a koe. And before we invite Mam Gamal Fuda to undertake our final tour, thank you all of you who brought your tamariki, our children with you today. It is lovely to hear their kōrero and hear their song. So thank you for bringing our children to this remembrance service. Ladies and gentlemen, I now invite Imam Gamal Fuda, who will undertake our tour. E te amorangi, tēnā koe.
Thank you. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولا تحسبن الذين قتلوا في سبيل الله أمواتا بل أحياء عند ربهم يرزقون فرحين بما آتاهم الله من فضله ويستبشرون بالذين لم يلحقوا بهم ألا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون صدق الله العظيم. Tinakoto, Assalamu alaikum. Our Prime Minister, we gather here today at a time of great challenge for our nation and indeed the world. 15th of March, a terror attack, and coronavirus will continue to change the way we live, but we must not allow them to change who we are. 2 years ago, our lives were changed forever. No one could have imagined that this terror attack will ever happen in New Zealand. We all thought New Zealand is safe. But over the past 2 years, we have shown that New Zealand is still unbreakable, and that the world has seen in us an example of love and unity. We are here today to reconfirm the same message of love and unity. We are together. We are one. May Allah have mercy upon the honorable brothers and sisters who were sent in peace from our mosques to paradise. O Allah, please grant the best reward for the families of shuhada, the injured, and all the victims, and offer them patience. We pray to Allah, the Lord of the world, to continue the blessings of stability, safety, welfare on us all, and bless our nation. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Te amorangi e Ma'am Gamal Fuda, thank you very much. Ke huri tātou iaia nei e te iwi ki te whakakanohitanga mai, o te kuini ara o te kāwana tianara wā o te aroa whakaeko mai I runga I te ahuraba I tēnei wā. Ladies and gentlemen, to address this Remembrance Service, ko Tātou We Are One, please welcome Her Excellency Dame Patsy Reddy, Governor-General of New Zealand, e te kāwana tianara, tēnā koe.
Tātai whetū ki te rangi, mau tonu, mau tonu. Tātai tangata ki te whenua, ngaro noa, ngaro noa. E te hunga mate. Kua ngaro rā koutou ki te pū o mahara. Tēnei mātou ka aue. Tēnei mātou ka auhi. He aha mā mātou. He tangi, he mihi, he poroporo ake. Nā reira e moe e te moingaroa. Ki te hunga ora, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. While the stars above remain unchanged and unchanging, the earthly world changes inevitably with the loss of precious loved ones. To you who have travelled beyond the veil, you who have been lost in the void of memories, we grieve for you all. We cry in distress. What can we do other than to grieve, acknowledge, and farewell? Rest now, rest in peace. Distinguished guests, warm greetings to you all. Assalamu alaikum. 2 years ago, an act of terror was unleashed on a group of peaceful people at prayer. New Zealanders were deeply shocked by the cruel slaughter of 51 men, women and children, and the horrific injuries inflicted on a further 40. We searched for words to express our outrage and our sorrow. We struggled to comprehend that this could happen here. In the days that followed, we wept for the victims as we learned their names, studied images of their smiling faces, and read stories about their lives. We listened to tributes from those who knew them, about the good, kind man, about the woman who was living her dream by studying and working in New Zealand, about the insurance agent who had recently become a grandfather, about the high school student, the restaurant owner, the welder, and the tech company co-founder. People with hopes and dreams, people with jobs and families, people who loved and were loved, people who were part of the whānau of Aotearoa, New Zealand. Their loss has cut deeply, especially for the Muslim community of Christchurch. Today, we acknowledge the grief of the families, friends and colleagues of those killed and injured. We acknowledge the trauma for those who survived the attack, physically unscathed, and who bore witness to the events of that terrible day. We acknowledge the courage and compassion of the first responders, the medical professionals, and the members of the public whose actions helped wounded and helped to save lives. And we acknowledge also the brave police officers whose actions prevented further carnage. On that darkest of days for New Zealand, when we saw the very worst of humanity, we also witnessed the very best. The grace and courage in the Christchurch Muslim community was supported by Muslim communities around New Zealand. New Zealanders of all faiths and ethnicities instinctively gathered in public expressions of sorrow and sympathy. There was recognition that we all had work to do to ensure that mindless prejudice and hate cannot take root in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and that merely hoping for a better future would not be enough. There can be no us and them. There can only be we. Together, we shine a light into the darkness. Together, our children learn that the qualities of kindness and decency are shared across humanity and are not the monopoly of any ethnicity or religious persuasion. By extending manaakitanga and aroha to each other, by standing firm in our resolve that Aotearoa not be a home for twisted narratives of hate, we will create the best legacy we can for those we have lost. Ka maumahara tonu tātou ki a rātou. We will remember them.
Te kawana te anara tēnā koe i e rā kupu kōrero i o ti a koe, te whakapuaki ake i nā tata ake nei. Your Excellency, Governor-General Dame Patsy Reddy, thank you for your address and for your words. Ia nei e te iwi, he himene te haere ake, he waiata kua poropore wari e tia whānuitia ki te ao. Ladies and gentlemen, like all good hui, we are now going to have another waiata, another song, and this is a classic. I would like to introduce to the stage the group Dillustrate, who will perform our next waiata, singing Whakaria Mai, How Great Thou Art. Would you please welcome Dillustrate?
Whakaria Mai Tori peka kia Tia ho mai Raroto i te po Hei kona Titiro atua Ora mate Hei o koe no hoa Whakaria
Illustrate, thank you very much. Tēnā korua, I tā tātou waiata. I aia nei e te iwi ko te pirimia o te motu nāna tonu tātou iarahi, whai muri I ngā mea I hua, I te tekau mai iwa o mahe I te tau, te kamarimo o mahe te tau rua mano kotahi I te kau mai iwa. Introducing now, ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker. She is, of course, the Right Honourable Jacinda Ardern, Prime Minister of Aotearoa, New Zealand. Te pirimia, tēnā koe.
Kia hora tia māreno, kia whakapapa, ponamu ti moana. Hei huarahi mā tātou I te rangi nei, aroha atu, aroha mai, tātou I a tātou katoa, hui e, taiki e. Assalamu alaikum. On Monday, it will be 2 years since 51 New Zealanders' lives were taken in the most tragic and horrific way. As I sat and tried to prepare words to accompany our presence in this place, I was at a loss. Much has been said, but words, despite their healing power, will never change what happened that day. Words will not bring back those men, women, and children who had gathered at their place of worship, quietly and peacefully, when they were taken in an act of terror. Words will not remove the fear that descended over the Muslim community here in Aotearoa in the days, weeks, and months that followed. Words will not take away the trauma that families, those who were injured, first responders, passers-by who became rescuers, and so many others experienced that day. But while words cannot perform miracles, they do have the power to heal. That means we must use them wisely. To our Muslim community, that means using our voices and words to acknowledge the loss that was yours. The fathers, the brothers, the husbands and sons, the mothers and wives, the children who are lost, and all those so gravely injured. Our duty is to not only remember what has been taken, but who your loved ones were and what they gave to you, your community, and this place they called home. It means knowing that grief takes time and that the scars that have been left are many, and that we have a duty to listen, hear, and respond with words and deeds that support you while they heal. But perhaps most important of all, it means understanding that words will be one of the most powerful ways we can and must show that March 15 has changed us. Sadly, if we assume that before that day in our history, our Muslim community hadn't experienced hatred and racism, we would be very wrong. In the aftermath of the terror attack, I heard the stories of women who were frequently harassed because they were easily identifiable as Muslim, of children whose earliest experiences of racism were in their school grounds, of horrible and dehumanizing experiences that were so common that perhaps most devastating of all, some gave up on doing anything about it. Many of us will remember, or indeed have seen, children being taught from a very young age to be stoic, that if they face the harsh word of others, they should adopt a stiff upper lip. Perhaps it has been our way of teaching children resilience in the face of those who might intend to cause harm. Of course, we want our children to be resilient, but surely no more than we want our children to be kind. And so we have to ask ourselves, what does it take to create a generation that is empathetic but strong, that is kind but fair, that is knowledgeable but curious, that knows the power of words and uses them to challenge, defend, and empower? In the aftermath of March 15, we have learned so much. We've been willing to ask ourselves some incredibly hard questions. We have confronted and continue to confront our laws, our systems, our bureaucracy. And things are changing, and they will continue to change. But there are some things that lie outside the power of just politicians and governments. We all own and hold the power of words. We use them, we hear them, we respond to them. How we choose to use this most powerful of tools is our choice. There will be an unquestionable legacy from March 15. Much of it will be heartbreaking, but it is never too early or too late for the legacy to be a more inclusive nation, one that stands proud of our diversity, embraces it, and if called to, defends it staunchly. And for those moments, may I never, and may we never be at a loss for words. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa, shukran lakam.
E te piri mia tēnā koe, Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Jacinda Ardern, thank you very much for those words. As you know, ladies and gentlemen, our Remembrance Service today is being undertaken in a COVID-19 world, and it was, of course, due to be held last year. There are, of course, many families who could not be here today, and whilst there are many of us here in Ōtautahi, in Christchurch today, in person, there are many people watching this event on a live stream link across Aotearoa and around the world, and of course, we say to them all, kia ora. And what better way to make them feel a part of these proceedings today than by standing together and singing our national anthem. Nō reira kia tutu mai rā e ngai ui, kia tā kina ke tātou, ko tā tātou waiata o te mutu, our national anthem. Could you please stand for the national anthem to be sung by Mohamed Abdul Jabbar and illustrate first in te reo Māori and then in English. Kia ora tātou. Please be seated, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. And thank you to Mohamed Abdul Jabbar and Illustrate. Thank you very much for leading our waiata. It was very good. My background vocals were awesome. Hei whakarāpapoto I tā tātou hui I tēnei rā. And to close our Remembrance Service today, I now call upon Tūpoko Ngai Tuahuriri, Dr. Tamai Reto, and the whānau of Tuahuriri. There's a few of them here today. Also representing Ngāi Whānau. And who worship the Mayor, Leanne Dalzell, Mayor of Christchurch City, to please return to the stage. After these final words from Dr. Tamai Reto of Ngāi Tuahuriri and who worship the Mayor, we will close our Remembrance Service called Tātou We Are One. E kara te maere, tēnā koe.
We followed our disciplines by giving thanks at the start, and we have listened to the tragedies that really have been amongst us. We're meaning-seeking creatures, and within our tribe, quite often to resolve the darkness, we find resolution in beauty. What we asked our master carver, Fane Robinson, to do was to go to the West Coast and to search in the rivers for a particular stone and to carve something beautiful in it. which he has done. We understand that the view has been people don't belong, and in our tribe that's intolerable, and not only within our tribe but within the people of New Zealand, Canterbury and Christchurch, which is why we have asked our mayor and the chair of our rununga to gift to the Imam 2 taonga by Fane Robinson to hold within their mosques. May we ask, please, that they come forward so that we may give to you these taonga carved by our people. Jamal. These taonga are absolutely beautiful. I think they are the best work of Fane Robinson. He's carved his soul into this, and on behalf of our worship, the Mayor Elayyan Dalzell, and our rununga, please accept these to hold on behalf of our people and the people of New Zealand and Christchurch within your mosque.
Nei ranga whakaroro e mata ko tukuna e mata ngai tū ahuriri ngai tahu whānui me te hāpori o tautahi e he tohu mahara o te hononga ki a mātau e ko tātou e.
We carry our pain with us, but we also carry the beauty that makes us human. My task now is to close with the closing prayer. Nō reira, e te māngai ngā anahera pono, e te tokoturu tapu. Whakuungia mai mātou I roto I tō araha anō, paihera tia ki te rangi māria I ngā wā katoa, ko te māngai hei tautoko mai ai nei, ākene nei, ai. Enfold us in your enduring love and grace, bind us to peace in all times. Kia ora tātou katoa.
Ngai tuahuriri tēnā koutou, e te kahika o tautahi tēnā koe, tai atu ki ngā amorangi nei. Thank you, Dr. Tamaire Tau, ngai tuahuriri, and of course, your worship, the Mayor of Christchurch, Elayyan Dalzell. E ngai iwi, ko oti tātou whakahaere I tēnei wā. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for joining us at our National Remembrance Service today, called Tātou We Are One, here at the Christchurch Arena on a beautiful Christchurch day in the city of Ōtautahi. And to those of you across Aotearoa and around the world that tuned in on our live stream, thank you for joining us as well. As our Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Jacinda Ardern said, kia hora te marino, kia whakapapapaunumu te moana, kia tere te kā rohi rohi. May the seas before us all be calm. May they glisten like green stone. And may the shimmer of summer dance across our pathways now and forevermore. Assalamu alaikum. Kia tau te rangi Māori e, kia koutou katoa, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Ladies and gentlemen, could you all now please stand for the departure of the official party? That was quick, eh? That's good. Ladies and gentlemen, on the floor, we invite you all to attend the reception through doors 4 and doors 1. And ladies and gentlemen, in the general arena, we thank you all for being a part of this auspicious occasion and for joining us this afternoon. Kia tau te mauri ki tēnā o koutou katoa. Peace be with you all. Kia ora tātou.